Hello, welcome to the Crawcast. I'm your host, George Krawczak, and this is right before the first week of the season quarterback rankings. I'll be doing these weekly rankings and keep them updated throughout the entire season so we can see how well each quarterback is doing. And first, I just want to preface this with all the rookie quarterbacks I have at the bottom just because we simply have not seen them play, so I kind of rank them based on who I think has the best and worst situation. And so, given that, let's get started. At number 32, I have Jaden Daniels. Again, he was the second overall pick in the draft. He looked pretty decent coming out of college. The one thing that really concerns me is potentially him getting injured, because he is mainly a rushing quarterback, kind of like Lamar Jackson, but he just really doesn't run correctly, if I can say that in the best way possible, in the sense that he just keeps jumping into contact and looks like he will get injured and will struggle protecting himself. At number 31, I have Bo Nix. I put him at 31 because I do think he has a pretty good offensive coach in Sean Payton, and I think he is quite similar to Drew Brees and will be built around like Drew Brees. I think as well as Courtland Sutton is a decent wide receiver one for him. At number 30, I have Caleb Williams. I put him at number 30 because, again, he has a really, really great receiving core in DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze, and we'll just see how he plays. At number 29 is Jacoby Brassette. Again, he's a backup. That's essentially who he is. He's not that great of a starter. Again, I don't think he'll do anything much. I think mostly it's just they don't want to risk Drake May kind of performing badly and then losing his confidence. So they're just going to have Drake May sit and learn about NFL meetings, and just get acclimated to the NFL before they're ready to start him. Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if Jacoby Brissett gets benched before the season is over. And number 28 is Bryce Young. Bryce Young did not have a very good rookie season, but granted, a lot of people don't. I do think they shored up the team much better than before, giving him Deontay Johnson. And overall, we'll just see how he does. At number 27, I have Sam Darnold. He did not perform well in his one game last season, but he was the third overall pick for a reason and did perform pretty well in college. He does have a pretty good team around him in Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones and Jordan Addison. So I might be in the minority of this, but I think he will actually have a pretty decent season. But as of right now, I cannot justify ranking him ahead of 27 given his past history. At number 26 is Will Levis. Again, his kind of like Bryce Young, his rookie season had some ups and some downs. Overall, didn't really do a lot. He does have a pretty good receiving core in DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley. At number 25, I have Anthony Richardson. I don't know why everyone's like super, super high on him. I get for fantasy football purposes, he has a lot of rushing upside, but he only played in 4 games, and in those 4 games, he is kind of just average, and he left 3 of them early with an injury. At number 24 is Gardner Minshew. I'm actually really surprised he earned the starting job, just because I think he's a fine quarterback, above average backup. But I thought Aiden O'Connell had a little bit more of a future there, or at least more potential. At number 23 is Daniel Jones. He has not been very good so far in his NFL career. He's had some decent games, but overall last year he wasn't playing very good, and then he tore his ACL, and so who knows what he looks like now. But this kind of feels more or less like a make it or break it year for Daniel Jones. At number 22 is Derek Carr, kind of similar to Daniel Jones in the sense that he really didn't play too well last year, but overall he has had a pretty decent career, and it does look like it's a little bit of a make it or break it year for him. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he plays too horrible and then he gets benched for Spencer Rattler mid-season. although he does still have a pretty decent team around him. At number 21 is Deshaun Watson. Ever since going to Cleveland, honestly, he has just not been good. He was really good with the Texans, and just the Cleveland Browns have, like, they've had a decent team around him. He just hasn't played good, and it really surprised me last year that he missed a majority of the season. I know he had, like, a pinky injury and then a shoulder injury, and that surprised me because Aaron Rodgers, for example, 2 years ago, he broke his thumb, I believe, and did not miss a single game. And Deshaun Watson's missing games with an injured pinky. And just, I think the Browns really regret the trade, giving up 3 first-round picks and giving him a huge contract. At number 20 is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has also had a pretty decent career, but I think he's gotten to the point in his career where he's just going to be a below-average starter and above-average backup. Arthur Smith, I do think, has a decent offense for him in the sense that they're not going to ask him to do anything special or anything great. They're going to rely on the running game and a lot of quick passes. So hopefully he just doesn't hold the ball onto the ball too long, because I know that's his biggest struggle. And we'll see if he even makes it through the whole season and doesn't get benched for Justin Fields. At number 19 is Kyler Murray. He had a great start to his career, and then overall has just been kind of going downhill since then. He did return and have a few decent games from his when he returned from his ACL injury, but overall we'll kind of see how he performs. I thought that he was going to get traded because they had a new head coach and new kind of system coming in, and I just thought that he wouldn't want Kyler Murray. But it looks like they are sticking with Kyler Murray for the foreseeable future. At number 18 is Geno Smith. Again, I think he's just kind of a middling quarterback. Like I said about Russell Wilson, is I think he'll be an above-average backup and below-average starter. I also wouldn't be surprised if maybe they try to get Sam Howell in there for the future, although Sam Howell during training camp has looked absolutely horrible. So, who knows? At number 17 is Trevor Lawrence. He did just sign that massive contract, and the reason why they had him sign this contract now is because they clearly do believe in him for the future, and if he is the guy for the future, you want to pay him now as opposed to later, because he's only going to get more expensive after that. But so far, he's only had kind of an average to below average career, and he really hasn't been the special first overall pick that we are all expecting. At number 16 is Baker Mayfield. Kind of like what I said about Trevor Lawrence, he's just had an average career so far. He's had some really good seasons and some terrible seasons. I was really surprised when the Browns got rid of him because I thought were going to stick with him for at least another season. But then he just kind of bounced around to the Panthers and the Rams, and looks like he's found at least a decent home in Tampa Bay, where they'll be pretty good because he has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and I do think he'll, again, be around the 16th best quarterback in the NFL. At number 15 is CJ Shroud. The reason why I have him ranked so low is because he's just unproven. He's had one season in the NFL, and for a rookie, it was a pretty decent season. Overall, it wasn't that great, but it was really great for a rookie. And who knows if he's going to perform better, if he's going to regress. Everyone expects him to take a big step up, and that doesn't always happen for quarterbacks. So we really just don't know what we have in CJ Stroud so far. At number 14 is Jordan Love, and kind of exactly what I said for CJ Stroud. Jordan Love had a pretty good year last year. He came in third in touchdowns and just performed very, very well, especially in the second half. In the first half of the season, he was a below average quarterback, and then in the second half of the season, he was probably the best quarterback in the NFL. And it's just unproven because, like, well, what do we have here? Is it the first half of the season Jordan Love, or is it the second half of the season Jordan Love, or is it a mixture of both? He's just too unproven to give him a good quality rank so far. At number 13, I have Jaylen Herz, and I know a lot of people have him higher, but I'm kind of debating on even having him this high because he's kind of reminding me a lot like Carson Wentz in the sense that he had one really great season, and everybody remembers that one great season. Where kind of like Carson Wentz, hung his hat on that one MVP level season, and just could never replicate that for the rest of his career. And that's what it's starting to look like for Jaylen Herz, where he had that one amazing season and just hasn't been able to replicate that since or even come close to it. At number 12, I have Tua Tagovailoa. And Tua actually had a really good season last year. I fully understand he has a loaded offense and a really great coach, but he does deserve to get credit for playing well in that offense. He led the league in passing yards, and I think he'll have a pretty good season coming up. At number 11 is Justin Herbert. Who knows what the 2024 season is going to look like for him because Jim Harbaugh does not like running the football, or sorry, does not like throwing the football. He enjoys leaning on the run and then building the pass off of the play action run. We've seen it at Michigan with J.J. McCarthy. We saw him previously in San Francisco with Colin Kaepernick, where he does not like his quarterback doing too much work and does not like his quarterback throwing too much. But overall, Justin Herbert is pretty talented, and so we'll see. At number 10, I have Kirk Cousins. I understand that he's coming off of the torn ACL, but he does enter a very good Atlanta Falcons offense. And if you look at before he got injured last year, he was probably the number one quarterback in the NFL before he got injured. He is still very talented, and that with the ACL, the thing is he wasn't very mobile in the first place. So if you're losing his running ability, it's not really a huge loss. And I assume the arm and everything is still going to be there, and he'll have a great season. At number 9, I have Jared Goff, and he's just been a very up and down quarterback in the sense that if you look at like his 5 best games last year, it's probably 5 of the best games in the NFL, and if you look at his 5 worst games, he's probably the 5 of the worst games in the NFL for a quarterback last year. He does run the offense very, very well, especially, kind of like what I said of Jim Harbaugh. He likes to build off the play action with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And he does have some great weapons in Amon-Ra St. Brown, and maybe Jameson Williams will take another big step. And he just, like I said, it's kind of like nothing super insanely special, but he's just very efficient and does not make a lot of huge mistakes. And number 8 is Matthew Stafford, and he kind of reminds me a little bit of Jordan Love's season in the sense that at the beginning of the season he just did not play very well, but towards the end he was just on fire and playing insanely, insanely good. And overall throughout his career he has been an above average quarterback. And just this year, I think he kind of makes number 8 a little bit by default in the sense that I think there's way too many unknowns in the quarterback market right now to properly judge these guys. At number 7 is Brock Purdy. I think this is a fair ranking for him because I fully understand that, he is in a loaded San Francisco offense with Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle. But the thing is he does need to get credit for running that offense very well. Because there's a reason why they did better under him than under Jimmy Garoppolo and then under Trey Lance. He is running the offense better than those two quarterbacks. But we just don't know if it's him elevating everyone else or everyone else elevating him or a mixture of the both. At number 6 is Joe Burrow. Again, also coming off of an injury, but he did make it to the Super Bowl that one year and has been one of the top level quarterbacks in the NFL since his rookie year, and he's just been playing great. He will be without Jamar Chase, it looks like, at least for the first couple of games probably, but he will still have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. And so I do think he will be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this year. At number 5, you have Josh Allen, and he is just extremely volatile in the sense that he will make some of the best plays you see in the NFL, and he'll also make some of the worst plays you will see in the NFL. Just because he just throws way too many interceptions, has way too many fumbles, and it just cannot get it down. He just reminds me a lot of Jameis Winston in the sense where I wouldn't be surprised if he is another quarterback that goes 30 for 30. He will either win you the game or lose you the game. There's really no in between. At number 4, I have Aaron Rodgers. I do think a lot of people are ranking him way too low, because if you have to think about it, is we are only 3 years removed or 2 years removed from his MVP season and two of his last three fully healthy seasons, he did win the MVP in the NFL. I understand that last year he did not play, and the year before that he was average to below average, but before that and throughout his entire career, he has been a Hall of Fame level quarterback and is going to be in the Hall of Fame. So just because he got injured last year and didn't play, I think kind of unfairly ranks him below other players where he shouldn't be. At number three, I have Dak Prescott. I think a lot of people are too low on Dak Prescott as well. In my opinion, I also made another video of why I thought Dak Prescott should have won NFL MVP last year. But he has just been a very good quarterback. I understand he can't get it done in the playoffs, but right now we're not talking about the playoffs. We're just talking about a week-to-week basis in football. And I do think he will be one of the top quarterbacks, especially since he's in a contract year and he's aiming to get about $60 million once his deal's expired. Who knows if that'll be the Cowboys or not, but at number two, I have Lamar Jackson. Again, last year I didn't think he did enough to win MVP, but the other MVP he definitely should have won it, and he has been really good his entire career and has really helped carry the Baltimore Ravens to being one of the best teams in the NFL. And now that they're adding Derrick Henry, who may or may not be good, we'll see. I do think he will expand on his running game and also be very good at throwing and just be a very good quarterback. And then number one is Patrick Mahomes. I feel like you need to put him at number one just because even though last season it wasn't the greatest, he did win the Super Bowl and he has won NFL MVP in the past and just throughout his entire career has been one of the top quarterbacks and definitely deserving of this number one spot. Again, these players are hard to rank because we haven't seen them play yet, and I will release weekly rankings of players moving up and down throughout the year. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you like this type of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. I'll see you next time.